30 seconds?
I reckon you're okay to get going now.
Okay. I'll leave you to let everyone in.
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to this evening's webinar, Spring Clean Your Health to Step into Summer with Confidence. And today actually is the first day of spring, so we're well on our way, finally. So just basically, I was just saying this holding slide is just reflecting back on the webinar we did back in January, and we had some brilliant testimonials from the people who actually joined the challenge back in January. And so if you haven't had a chance to read it, you can just scan through it very quickly now. But moving on, I will need to crack on because there is quite a lot to get through. So I'm trying to keep to the 45 minutes. I know your time is very precious. So just to very quickly, just a little about ourselves, myself and Sue, if you haven't met us before. So my name's Babita Paul, and I became a registered level 4 nutritionist in the first lockdown. And I was attracting a particular type of client, which is basically perimenopausal, menopausal women. So then I went and moved on and become accredited by the Menopause Experts Group. And that was really to help women with the menopausal struggles, really. And so what got me interested in nutrition to begin with was back in 2017, I was diagnosed with an underactive thyroid. I knew I didn't want to go on medication. I knew that it could be fixed with a change of lifestyle and also a change in diet. And that's exactly what I did. So when the opportunity came, I told the doctor that I didn't want to go on thyroxine. He printed off some blood tests, pre-printed, and I saw a homeopath. I completely changed my diet, lost 3 stones in weight, and got my blood sugars down in about, my thyroid numbers down in about 8 months. The weight took a bit longer, but I'm proud to say that it's all stayed off. So when I had the opportunity then to study nutrition in lockdown, when we had all this extra spare time, I did that, and I'm very happy to have done that, and now helping other people to get the hormones in balance and to really upgrade their nutrition. I met Sue on a random networking, well, it was an online networking business network, and we had an affinity because we're both into nutrition. So that's how I actually met Sue. And Sue, I'll let you just introduce yourself very quickly.
Yeah, so I'm Sue Thomas. I call myself the sugar-free coach, empowering women to break their addiction to sugar, basically. I'm a nutritional therapist, and I've been in the wellbeing industry for 20 years now. I kind of struggle to say that because I can't believe that I've been doing this for 20 years, but I have been. And like Babita, one of the reasons why we have a kind of instant affinity, because we're both in nutrition, but I also work very much with women that are struggling with peri and are menopausal. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah, so I would say that our mission is to get midlife individuals healthier, future-proofing the second half of their lives, making it the best half of their life with upgraded nutrition, and also with the help of some very select supplementation. So thank you, and thanks Sue for co-hosting this as well. Now I'm going to ask for a little bit of audience participation as we go through, starting now. So this is a beautiful picture of summertime, of spring, of the brighter weather and the blooming flowers. When you think of summer, if we could just unmute you for a little while, what comes to mind? What things come to mind when you think about summer?
Blue sky.
Blue sky. I love a blue
sky. Early morning bike rides.
Yeah. Early morning brightness always gets us up out of bed quicker rather than this gloom and doom. Anyone else? Do you think about the parties, wedding season, barbecue season?
A couple of people said the beach.
The beach, yeah, getting on the beach. Also, it means if there's more invitations, there are more social activities, it means more photographs. Even dating becomes more popular as the sun comes out. So a lot more social gatherings, a lot more activities. Also, you're going to be in lighter clothes, you might be showing a bit more skin. And for some people, they're not feeling ready for that. They're not feeling confident to actually go out and put on their skimpy t-shirts and vest tops and all the rest of it, or to be on the beach. You know, maybe you're actually not ready to ditch your big jumpers like I'm wearing today. Maybe you still have a bit of winter weight. Maybe you still have a Christmas weight, you know, or you suffer from SAD, seasonal affective disorder. So you haven't quite shaken off those blues from the bad weather that we've been having lately. So today we're actually going to focus on some areas of health, 2 areas of health in particular, your sleep and your liver, where getting these in balance can actually improve all those areas. Improve the state of your skin, have a spring in your step, have glowing skin, clear skin, feel good, actually boost your metabolic function so that it makes it easier for you to lose those pounds if that's what you need to do, if you need to lose a few pounds for the summer. And this is all extremely important because at the foundation of looking good is feeling good. And it's a fact that food actually affects the way you feel. What's going on the inside is always going to reflect on the outside. So moving on to sleep then, we are all actually designed to sleep, but a third of adults actually suffer with their sleep quite badly and they don't sleep very well. And sleep has taken on a low priority in this topsy-turvy world where we think it's like some sort of badge of martyrdom, you know, or something to be proud of, that we're working all the hours that you can possibly work. You're stressed up to the, you know, eyeballs. And you're stress and strain where you have, oh, you know, I'm so busy that I don't even sleep that much, you know, like I'll sleep when I'm dead sort of attitude. That's wrong. We're designed to sleep. You know, that sort of attitude is harming actually the whole nation. So you must protect your sleep. From a human sort of survival point of view, it makes no sense at all. So when we were hunter-gatherers, you know, we went to sleep for like 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Well, it would have been from dusk, you know, from when dusk came till the morning came. So a long time of sleep, absolutely exposed to all the predators out there. That just shows you how important sleep is. You know, we could be killed in our sleep, but we still definitely need it. Always needed it, still need it. Why? Because impaired sleep has been shown now to increase the risk of cardiovascular disease, obesity, anxiety, depression, emotional volatility. It affects your productivity, your memory, and your performance, and it actually makes more procrastination. Studies have shown that people who have less than 6 hours of sleep are more likely to be obese or struggle with their metabolism. This is because the metabolic clock is not being reset properly during the night. So when you wake up, you're tired, you're a bit groggy, and the first thing you want to do is reach for something that's going to give you immediate energy, which means some sort of sugary breakfast, or very high caloric breakfast to perk you up, and that's because you haven't had a good night's sleep, so it's trying to replace the energy that you're losing. Ideally, looking at the charts here, our melatonin should kick in hormonally around about 9 o'clock. That's when we should start thinking about wind down, and we should start thinking about getting up with the sun, so with sunrise, when your cortisol comes up, which is actually the stress hormone, but it has a role here. It should go down as the day goes on. Sadly, because of our stressful lifestyle, that's a whole different webinar, but cortisol remains up, but it actually wakes you up. So it is the hormone that gets you up. So to balance your cycle, try to be in a line with the circadian rhythm of, you know, sunrise and sunset. It's really important that you actually sleep earlier and win the day early in the day, getting up earlier rather than working really late into the night, because that's more damaging. So much is going on while we sleep. If we look at the Chinese, the traditional Chinese medicine, every hour of the day is actually linked to what's happening in your body. So while you're asleep, so much is going on. There's a cleansing going on. You know, your metabolism is starting to digest and sort of properly go through the food you've been eating all day. Your gallbladder and liver are being cleansed between 1 and 3, basically. Your lungs, your large intestine, and as you start to get up, your stomach comes to life again. Your digestion comes back to life again. So basically, this sleep is so important because of all of those roles happening while you're resting. So including resetting your immunity. So those who sleep well have higher amounts of immunity. They can train harder, which means their muscles actually repair quicker. During non-REM sleep is when your brain is also washing out toxins, in particular compounds like beta amyloids, which are implicated in Alzheimer's and other degenerative brain disorders. And going back to glowing skin and getting ready for the summer, collagen is regenerated. So with the right amount of sleep, your collagen actually gets regenerated and replenished, helping to repair your skin from the inside out. So there is really such a thing as beauty sleep. And just a little tip for this coming weekend, we all know, living here in the UK, the clocks are going to go forward. So our body thrives on consistency. It might not seem a lot that it's only going forward by an hour, but it can make us feel very jet lagged. So as a tip, you can actually go to bed the same time. Try this for this whole week, and this will help you at the weekend. Go to bed at the same time, but each morning get up about 15 minutes earlier. By the time the clocks go forward, you will be already getting up earlier. You won't feel jet lagged, and you won't feel like you've been robbed of an hour. So that's a little trick you can do. An interesting fact, actually, that there is an increase in heart attacks, a massive 24% increase the Monday after the clocks go forward. Quite a shocking statistic, really. Why is that? It's because of this abrupt disruption to the sleep-wake cycle, and also the stress of starting the work week an hour earlier. And it's actually been shown a 24% increase. Conversely, there's a 21% decrease when the clocks go back. And it is the only time that scientists have seen this massive peak and trough in the amounts of heart attacks in the year. Just going to talk very briefly about menopause. During menopause, women have a hard time actually either getting to sleep or staying asleep. They experience night sweats, heart palpitations, mad sort of overactive brain thinking, 3 a.m. alertness. And we will actually dive into menopause on another webinar. Probably the next webinar we do, we're going to dive into menopause. But it's the decline in hormones for women in particular. The estrogen can lead to many sleeping problems. And those sleeping problems can manifest then in, fatigue, difficulty in concentrating, headaches, weight gain, because we already learned that sleeping well is linked to better metabolism, mood changes, and then this continual broken sleep can lead to low mood and anxiety, which is why it's really important, especially when you're perimenopausal or menopausal, that you really do take care of your slumber. It really is a time for your whole body to wind down, and it is important to help you and to come into line with the circadian rhythm. Just a few tips for all of us, really, to balance our hormones and come into alignment with the natural circadian rhythm that we should work towards. Be consistent, number one, be consistent with your routine. Go to bed and get up at the same time, including the weekends. For perimenopausal or anyone struggling, make sure the room is really dark, invest in some blackout blinds, keep the room cool, and also use natural fibers so that you don't overheat if you do suffer from night sweats. Avoid social media and technology at least an hour, if not more, before bedtime. It means phones, laptops. Looking at social media can be also very stimulating, like looking at people's stories and things. It's just a bit too stimulating. Instead, focus on relaxing activities, like, for instance, an evening bath, maybe reading, maybe some gentle exercise, nothing too strenuous because that will keep you awake. Maybe taking out your diary and writing out your next day, your plan for the next day. So do some really light things. Like I said, exercise too close to bedtime if it's too vigorous will keep you awake. Don't eat a heavy carbohydrate or sweet meal because that will send basically your liver into overcharges. It's the main reason that people actually get up between 1 and 3, because it's struggling to actually cleanse those sugars and the carbohydrates from your body. So stick to proteins and vegetables in the evening. Avoid alcohol, because even though a lot of people say, oh, well, it helps me sleep. Yes, initially it's a sedative, but then actually as the night goes on, it's very disruptive to the sleep cycle. So it blocks REM sleep, which is a really restorative sleep. So try cutting back on the alcohol. Actually eliminate alcohol for a few weeks and just see what kind of difference that makes to your sleep, as well as the sugars. Aim to have 7 to 9 hours of sleep a day. And one way of really setting the melatonin and cortisol coming on at the right time inside your body is to get out in the sun at least the first 15 to 20 minutes after you wake. The sunlight hitting your retina actually starts to signal all of the hormones for the rest of the day. And it's really useful for setting the melatonin and the cortisol correctly. I hope those tips were useful. You can start them straight away. You can definitely start the clocks going forward tips straight away, just getting up 15 minutes earlier every day, starting from tonight, and try to keep your timings consistent, and it will really help you. So just a little bit more of audience participation, because the second place we're going to talk about is the liver. So when you think about your organ, the liver, what comes to mind for you? You can just shout it out, it's fine.
Detox.
Detox, yeah. There are many detox sort of systems out there. Anyone else? Just shout it out. What comes to mind when you think about the liver?
I think about damage that alcohol does to the liver.
Yep, definitely. Alcohol does definitely do a lot of damage to the liver. I can't see who said that, but thank you very much. Anything else?
I always think about liver and onions that my mum used to feed me when I was a kid, because the liver is so nutrient dense, basically.
It is, actually, I'm going to just pick up on that alcohol point. It's not the only thing that damages the liver, but I was looking at the British Liver Trust website, and they say 1 in 4 adults are easily they're drinking over the 14 recommended units a week. You know, it's not only impacting the liver so much, but it's actually impacting so much only, it's actually impacting so many other functions in your body. And did you know that the liver is actually your second largest organ after your skin, and your lungs being the third? It makes it the largest solid organ in your body. It weighs about 3 to 3.5 pounds. It's a very complex triangular solid organ, and it's located in your upper right abdomen, underneath your ribs, your lungs, your diaphragm, and on top of your gallbladder and stomach and intestines. The one thing we really have to think about the liver is we must be so thankful to it, because it lets us, well, to the point, it lets us abuse it, because it's very forgiving in nature, very patient, it regenerates. As long as you have 25% of your liver good, it will regenerate. If it's not good, you're a little bit in trouble then. Usually, you will never know anything's wrong. There's hardly any warning signs. There's no real symptoms. It's very hard to diagnose unless you actually are going out because you think there's something wrong. It's very hard to see any sort of warning signs when it's going wrong. It's silently pushing away, really doing so many things for you. So we have to be very thankful for its forgiving nature, but it does run out of patience. And when it has run out of patience, 90% of the time, unfortunately, it's a little bit too late. So the old adage, prevention is better than a cure. So that's why looking after your liver is so important. More and more now, actually, although there is the alcohol-related fatty liver disease, I think most of you have heard about, there's also now this non-alcohol-related fatty liver disease, and it's on the increase, and it's actually linked to poor diet and poor nutrition. So this is becoming more of an epidemic. So the British Liver Trust estimates that 1 in 5 of us are already at the early stages of the disease, probably unknowingly, and that alcohol-related and non-alcohol-related fatty liver disease is a growing epidemic, with 1 in 3 of us already at risk. So what are the signs of a struggling liver? Well, one common sign is dull skin, dull eyes, bags under the eyes, irritability or uncontrollable mood swings, also chronically fatigued body, and also a body that can't seem to lose weight no matter what you try to do, and we'll come back to that in a minute. So also the skin becomes very sort of accelerated aging, and other symptoms can show up that actually manifest on the skin, like acne, eczema, and all those other sort of toxin-related types of skin diseases. So to make sure you are feeling tip-top for the summer, you can see how a good functioning liver is important for effective weight loss. For clear skin and clear eyes, it must be functioning optimally, and also to balance out your hormones, because the liver is crucial. It actually balances out and creates many hormones, but it helps to clean out, mop out old used hormones to enable your body to create new hormones. Extremely important during perimenopause. Like I said, the functions of the liver are too many to actually name. There's 500 functions. It filters your blood, it filters about 1.7 litres of blood every minute. It contains 300 billion specialised cells, all doing specialised roles. You can see here it regulates amino acids, it turns sugar into glycogen for your muscles to use. It actually eliminates the ammonia, which is created when we eat protein, produces ferritin, which helps you store iron in the body. So it's got amazing amount of stuff that it does. So because it's doing so much, you know, I mean, it is the body's key detoxifier. It will detox anything you ingest, you eat, anything you inject, anything you touch, anything you breathe, anything you put in your skin, anything you actually come into contact with, to try and prevent the accumulation of these toxins in your body. But it's so busy doing many other things as well, because it's a hard-working organ. You know, it's essential for all bodily functions, basically. It's critical in the role of digestion, nutrient absorption, complex metabolic functions, complex hormone functions, protein production, and hormone production and regulator. So actually, when it has all those things to do, detoxification takes a low priority. And you might be thinking, oh, why would it take a low priority? Because it's so busy doing so many other very life-saving things that it can actually give toxins to fat cells. So it will move the toxins that it's overloaded with into fat cells. And those fat cells, they actually can never be burnt because the toxins get trapped into the fat cells. So that explains, if your liver is compromised, that could explain why you might be a person that's tried many things, but you just can't lose weight, because those toxins have to be safely eliminated. And there is a way of doing that. So we'll come on to that a little bit later. So the problem arises, though, because these fat cells have now become fatty tissue, they then take on a life of their own. And they want to be fed, they want to be kept alive. So they are literally hijacking the food choices that you are making. Just like you have bad bacteria in your gut that want to be fed, you know, they also hijack the food choices that you could be making. So it's not all just in your head. Your body can actually be working against you, making you feel more hungrier than you are, making an environment in your body which is causing you to have uncontrollable or overeating tendencies, which can then lead to subsequent weight gain. It doesn't take a lot, actually, for the toxins to build up and fatty tissue to build up, which in turn then creates an inflammatory response in our body. An inflammatory response coming from toxins that are too overloaded in the body can result in joint pain, lackluster skin, accelerated aging that we talked about before, oxidization of cells, and even inflammation to the gut wall, which is another talk that we did. So the talk we did in January was all about inflammation in the gut wall. And if you didn't manage to get that talk, we actually have got a QR code on the last slide where you can go back and have a listen to that. So if your gut's compromised as well, that is also leaking extra toxins into the body. So what's causing this? What's causing this new epidemic in non-alcohol related fatty liver disease? Mostly it's down to our modern day foods. Predominantly the foods that we have now on the supermarket shelves are designed for taste, definitely not for health. They have a long shelf life because they're full of chemicals, which are not natural. They have a very high in hidden sugars and bad fats because they're easy to just produce off the factory line. And on top of that, just a little bit about absorption, because sometimes they've been, so say like fresh fruit and vegetables, it's been in long transit, it's actually losing its nutrient value all the time. And some things now are actually forced grown out of season. Again, those sorts of foods are mostly full of water. So your liver should be absorbing these nutrients, but if the quality of the food is not great to begin with, then you're fighting it really. Mostly what taxes the liver in terms of non-alcohol related fatty liver disease is sugars, very high, foods very high in sugars. What are sugars? People say, well, I don't have, a sweet tooth, so I don't, I'm okay because I don't really have sugar in my tea, I don't take desserts, I don't eat sweets. That's actually wrong, because a sugar is a carbohydrate, and a carbohydrate is basically made up of 3 molecules, made up of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, whether that be sweet or savory. And many savory food items or carbohydrates have these hidden sugars. For instance, the sauce bottles may be in your cupboards, or the morning cereals, dressings, protein bars, breakfast bars, they all have added sugar. They're all processed and they all have added sugar. Then there is the simple savory carbohydrates. You can sort of use carbohydrates and sugar interchangeably. You can use those words. So those are, your savory breads, your naan breads, chapati, white flour items, white rice, savory factory produced foods such as Bombay mix, crisps, including popped crisps. Just the fact that they're popped doesn't stop them being a carbohydrate rich food. They're still a carbohydrate rich food. So these carbohydrates, they convert to sugar in the body. And the problem arises when we're having too much sugar in the body. The liver converts that into LDL, or bad cholesterol as we know it, and that outnumbers the good cholesterol. And we really want that to be the other way around. So extra glucose from a high carbohydrate, whether that's sweet or savory diet, is putting a lot of stress onto the liver. The liver then turns that into something we all know very well, which is triglycerides, which is the blood fat that narrows arteries and can lead to cardiovascular complications. So how do we protect our liver? So just going to run through some very good points that you can use very quickly. Try to avoid as much as possible refined, processed packaged foods. They're highly processed, they're fast foods, they're convenience, microwave meals, or packaged snacks, ultra high in sugar, salt, and fake flavorings. Remove saturated fats from red meats, from hard cheeses and processed meats, especially trans fats. The food companies are very clever. They don't have to actually list trans fat as an ingredient item if it's less than 5%, but they are there. They're there in all processed foods, in all snacks and baked goods in particular, sometimes called partially hydrogenized fats, and they're there to give the food shelf stability, to make them have a long shelf life. So avoid simple carbs, the ones we just talked about, the breads, the pastas, the rice, the cakes, obviously, and the obvious sweets and everything. And also, if you are already a little bit overweight and you want to protect your liver, a good starting point is to actually decrease your weight by at least 5%. Avoid things that stimulate the liver too much, that cause the liver to have to struggle to detoxify, things like coffee, alcohol, fizzy drinks, and sugar. And actually include more exercise into your routine. That doesn't need to be going to the gym, but after eating at least, once a day, it could be as simple as a 20-minute walk. That will really help to move things through your system and help your liver detoxify. Also, go to your cupboards and have a look at these savory hidden sugars. So have a look for your sauces and condiments that you might have. You have to become quite good at reading labels because sugar has about 64 names. But one little quick tip is to look out for anything ending in O's, O-S-E, fructose, sucrose, galactose, maltose, anything that's called something syrup. And also, do not be fooled by these healthy snacks. These healthy snacks you see everywhere. Just because it says organic or natural does not mean it doesn't have added sugar, and it does not mean it's processed. If it's in a packet, it's gone through some factory process, and still has added sugar, date sugar, carob sugar, brown sugar, molasses, maple. These all turn to glucose in your body. It pushes insulin up, which is trying to struggle to keep glucose down in your bloodstream. So all of those items, even those so-called natural and organic snacks, they also can be full of high sugars, cheap fats, and no real fiber at all, unless they are completely raw and organic. So basically, we're all consuming in one way or another, consciously or unconsciously, we're all consuming more than we really should. On average, your sugar intake should be only 5% of your diet. That means if you're on take for example, 2,000 calories a day, for instance, then that would only be 100 calories, which actually, because 4 calories is in 1 gram of carbohydrate, it equates no more than 25 grams, or roughly 5 teaspoons. Well, you actually get more than that in a glass of Coke. So it just shows how sugar is all around us. And these foods are highly addictive. They're highly addictive because they absolutely switch on the dopamine center in our brain. So it's very easy to get hooked on them, but it's not impossible to come off of them. So I know it sounds like I'm saying all these things that you've got to come off of, but it's not that you have to come off of them completely. It's just to be aware that they're there and try to make your choices a little bit carefully. So toxicity also comes in other forms. It's all around us. It's in our environment as well. So I talked before about your liver having to deal with things you put on your skin, things you breathe. It's everywhere. So these chemicals, things in skin products, household cleaners, even our tap water, pesticides, pollution. I'm not going to touch too much on this. Again, it's quite a deep topic, but if you're interested, it would be good if you'd Google what are common obesogens. You'll be surprised actually what's out there and how it's impacting the human body and its ability to function properly, basically, to detoxify well, and also to be metabolically optimized. Then, of course, there's medicines and antibiotics. Over-the-counter medicines are very disruptive to the liver. The casings that the actual capsules come in, they all have to be metabolized. They have to be, you know, sort of eliminated from your system. Long-term use of medication is extremely harmful to the liver as well. And then we come on to alcohol, the one everyone associates with the liver. In terms of you know, women, we're actually at more risk when it comes to alcohol. 1 drink a day shows an increased risk for women in liver cirrhosis, much higher than that compared to men or people who have been abstaining for a long time. There's literally no nutrient value in alcohol. It's not even hydrating. It's a complete dehydrator. You know, they say for 1 sort of glass of alcohol, it's best to take 2 big glasses of water. It does not offer your body anything. It dehydrates you. So, and it, not only that, it's high in fermented sugars. The liver damaging ingredient is a thing called ethanol, which is in all alcohol, no matter which one we choose, whether that be a weak beer or cider, grain-based spirits or wine. So there is a big balancing act now between your liver and your kidneys. Your kidneys are trying to flush out and filter your blood as well. But the alcohol is so dehydrating, it can actually dehydrate your kidneys and your liver. It can cause cell damage to both organs. And it shows on the outside as well. Alcohol, because it's so dehydrating, it's dehydrating to your skin. So if you want glowing skin for the summer, it's best to reduce the alcohol. It's very dehydrating to the dermis in your skin. Your skin becomes dry. And not only that, your face can have a tendency to puff out, and other parts of your body, your ankles, because it's water retention. Your body's trying to hold on to water because it's so dehydrated. So it causes a lot of water retention. The Drink Aware website actually estimates that alcohol-related fatty liver disease develops in 90% of people who drink more than 40 grams of alcohol. That's 4 units a day. That's roughly 2 medium glasses of wine, or less than 2 pints of regular sort of 4% beer. So 90% would be at risk, even if they just drank. That's not a huge amount, but over time, it's quite damaging and can lead to other liver-related diseases, such as hepatitis, cirrhosis, and worst of all, obviously, liver cancer. So the buildup of all these toxins in your body, if your liver is struggling, or your metabolism is struggling, or your sleep is not optimum, it shows in so many different ways, because sleep is also another place, there's another time when your body is cleansing all the time. We'll go back to that traditional medicine wheel, which showed how all of your organs have their time in the night to be cleansed. If that's compromised and your liver's compromised, then it shows in all of these conditions that can come about, such as poor skin health, dryness, acne, eczema, stubborn weight that you cannot lose, being tired but wired as well, because you're just so agitated, but you can't sleep either, hormone imbalances, migraines, joint pain, all to do with an overload or a sluggish liver as well. So springtime, this time now, is the exact time to be looking after your liver. According to traditional Chinese medicine, the liver is a green organ along with the gallbladder. And you can see from this sort of annual chart, as it were, connecting the seasons to what's happening now, that springtime is the perfect time to actually help detoxify your liver. It's connected with so many things in traditional Chinese medicine, including elements of the earth like wood, the season, spring, your eyes and the brightness of your eyes, and also to do with emotions. So the liver is all about hanging on to anger, and this is the perfect time to release all of that, plus all of the toxins that we were just talking about. So because it's a green organ, it's supported massively by green foods, deep green foods. It's important to eat the rainbow, of course, but these green foods actually support the liver. Kale, spinach, deep green cabbages, broccoli, you know, fill up on nature's carbs. They're carbohydrates, but they're carbohydrates with benefits, with minerals and vitamins, and also added fiber. So it's really important to focus on the right nutrients on your plate. So how can you help yourself further? Well, we already talked about removing the foods to remove, mostly the processed foods and sugars, high in sugars and saturated fats. I think I just said sugars, high in sugars. I meant food high in sugars. Avoid alcohol, avoid gluten and excessive dairy, because, you know, and avoid over-the-counter medicines as much as you can. Obviously, if you have to take medication, we're not saying don't take any medication, but please be aware of the damage that it can be doing to your liver, and have some strategies in place to help yourself there, to help cleanse it. So when focusing on nutrition, you want to focus on leafy greens that we just talked about. They support the liver, and to support your metabolism, to make sure you don't, you know, when you do wake up, instead of going for the sugary kind of breakfast, go for a high protein breakfast, because that in the morning will help curb all of your cravings later in the day. And then to boost your efforts to actually help you further, I would be doing you a disservice if we didn't talk about supplementation, and in particular supplementation that is going to actually target the liver, which I'll let Sue explain a little bit more about. And this particular supplementation actually is full of green supporting nutrients, which you wouldn't necessarily get from your food because you'd have to eat so much of it. So Sue, if you don't mind just sharing as well how detoxification can actually help a person come off that bandwagon of like yo-yo dieting, a diet every spring, a diet every summer, or a diet for every wedding or occasion.
Yeah, thank you, Babita. That was so interesting. There was some such important points in there about how important it is to support our liver and give our liver lots of TLC and lots of love. It's one of the most underrated organs. We don't focus on how important our liver is and how much we need to give our liver love. And so in that detoxification process, you've already mentioned, Babita, the obesogens that we take on board on a day-to-day basis. Now, that might be PCBs, that might be the BPAs that we get on the inside of water bottles, PCBs in fertilizer and pesticides and things like that that are sprayed on our food. All of these toxins, the liver is struggling to basically clear out of the system. And as Babita said, when it's overloaded with all these other things that it needs to do, it downgrades basically detoxification. If you're waking between 1 and 3 at night, that's a sign that your liver is way overloaded and it's starting to demand some support from your heart, basically, which is bringing you into a lighter phase of sleep. So your liver isn't detoxifying efficiently. And for want of a kind of simpler term, what ends up happening is those toxins are sent to the fat cells and they're stored like a toxic waste dump. So when we go on any kind of weight management program, we can see progress to start with as we start to burn some of those fat cells. But because these toxins are still in our system, our body then wants to store them again. They might get released as we burn the fat cells, but if they haven't been cleared out of the system, when we start to eat normally again, the body sucks up all the opportunity to restore the fat cells, put fat back into those fat cells so that all those toxins can go back into the fat cells again. And this is one of the things that sets up the whole process of yo-yo dieting, because we never clear these toxins out of the system. So if you want to just move it on slightly, Babita, so by clearing the toxins out of the system, by supporting our liver, we can actually create longer term, more sustainable weight management. But it's not just about weight management, it's about all the other things that these toxins do as well. They're real aliens to the body, and they really can influence the amount of inflammation that we store in our body, how well our blood sugars are balanced. They just really do have this really big control. They have an impact on our estrogen balance and our menopause symptoms and stuff. So having our liver working efficiently to be able to clear all these toxins out of the system is absolutely crucial in 21st century life. Don't listen to anybody that says that you don't need to detoxify, because you do. Yes, the liver is a detoxing organ, and yes, it can detoxify, but it's really struggling to cope with everything it's exposed to on a day-to-day basis. So if we just move on to the next slide, what we see then is the liver that's struggling to function, and without the liver functioning efficiently, we then our health is being compromised, like Babita said in the earlier slide, with all those, where we listed all those things that result from having an overloaded liver: fatigue, poor sleep, hormone imbalance, autoimmune conditions, type 2 diabetes. All of these can be linked right back to our liver not working efficiently. So if we support our liver and cleanse our liver, which everybody should do at least once a year, just to make sure that we're clearing all those dangerous toxins out of our system. And in fact, actually going back to the toxins, there's lots of research now to show that even fetuses are starting to take on board some of the toxins that a mother stores in her system. They're starting to find traces of they're still finding traces of the chemical, was it DDT, I can't remember what that chemical is, but that was banned 20 years ago. They're still finding traces of it in fetuses all the way down through the generations. So these chemicals are really impacting our body long term and subsequent generations as well. So in order to be able to clear them out of our system, we need to cleanse the liver. And in cleansing the liver, we will create boundless daily energy for ourselves, healthy glowing skin that looks healthy from the inside out, getting rid of the hormone imbalances, don't worry about it, getting rid of the hormone imbalancing, creating much greater mental clarity, reducing any bloating, any joint pain, any IBS, all of the inflammatory responses that the body might have to having a liver that is overloaded. And it really helps us to get back in touch with who we are as a person and create our full potential. We can manage our hormones, our emotions much better, get rid of brain fog. There's so many benefits to having a liver that is clean and working efficiently. You can move it on now. Just so that everybody knows, Babita's controlling the slides. So I'm sitting here talking around the slides. So our Clean and Green program, you have two options with a Clean and Green program. Both program, well, it's one program, but you've got two options. Both options include our essential greens, which is basically 20 greens in a sachet. It contains all sorts of lovely green vegetables, including spinach, broccoli, but also things like wheatgrass, barley grass, lots and lots of really lovely green phytonutrients that you wouldn't eat on a day-to-day basis. But it also contains lots of herbs like sage and rosemary, other things that are really supportive to the liver, and spirulina as well, which is a great source of protein too. And incidentally, when the liver goes through a detoxing process, it needs two main raw materials: proteins, good quality proteins, and antioxidants, of which you get all of those in that sachet of essential greens. It's a greens drink that you dissolve in water. It's quite easy to taste, to take, but it's really, really supportive to the liver. And on any program you follow to support the liver, if you did a 30-day liver focused cleanse, you would use one sachet of that a day, just dissolve it in water. And then you've got two options. You can either use Vitalife, which is also a green drink that tastes of mint and is full of chlorophyll, and chlorophyll is a really powerful detoxifier. Or you could have our Sleep Well product if you're someone who's struggling with your sleep. And that one is 3 herbs, passion flower, valerian, and I can't remember what the third herb is, but all clinically trialed and proven to improve the quality of our sleep. So if sleep is really your issue and you're really struggling to stay asleep, you might go to sleep well, but you struggle to stay asleep, then that would be we would suggest you did essential greens with Sleep Well over a 30-day period. If you were someone who couldn't get your weight under control, you'd always yo-yo dieted, you might have some hormone imbalances, you were struggling with bloating, then we would suggest that you went essential greens and Vitalife. And the opportunity to cleanse your liver is over a 30-day period. So if you just want to move it on to the next one, Babita. Oh yeah, so the 3 supplements are come from a company called Synergy Worldwide, who've been recently featured in The Guardian for some of their other programs as well. They were also featured on Channel 4, and there's lots of things coming up as far as PR is concerned over the next few months. As far as this company is concerned, they're a very ethical company, they're a very clean company. Everything is organic, everything is clinically trialed, everything the raw materials are tested, so everything is very pure and very efficacious. All of their supplements are. You can just move it on again to the next one. So that's really important when you're cleansing your liver, because what you don't want to be doing is taking on board using supplements that you're putting more toxins into your system. Only 15% of the supplements that are on the marketplace are actually manufactured by the company whose name is on the tin or on the packet. And so for that reason, for many supplements, we don't know what their paper trail is. We don't know what their manufacturing process is. And so we don't know what could also be in those supplements in the form of toxins and impurities. What we know with Synergy Worldwide is that they manufacture their supplements in-house. They're all clinically trialed, and all of their raw materials are tested for any impurities. Anything that doesn't meet their standard will be sent back to the supplier. So we know that they are very pure and they are very potent, and they will support your liver function. So they won't put any more toxins into the body. If you are taking a substandard supplement, what you want is something that's actually going to clear those toxins and make the problem better, not make it worse. So our 30-day clean green challenge is to eat 3 clean meals a day. So when we talk about clean meals, we mean lots of good quality protein and lots of colours. We don't talk about restriction, we just focus on crowding out the plate with as many colours and as much good quality protein as we can focus on. We would though avoid the CRAP, which stands for caffeine, refined sugar, alcohol, and processed food, and anything beige. We can't fit beige in that CRAP analogy, but when we talk about beige, we'll talk about things like pasta and bread. And by removing those inflammatory foods that are inflammatory to the body, we can really start to reduce the inflammation in our system. So we can really reduce the bloating, joint pain, all of that kind of thing can be reduced as a result of cutting out the crap. And I've just seen that someone said, is it gluten-free? Yes, it's gluten-free. It's fine for celiacs as well.
Also vegan.
And it is vegan, yes,
All
it is.
vegan.
But all 3 of them are gluten-free. We obviously have this targeted supplementation program as part of this Clean Green program, which is either the Essential Greens and Vitalife or the Essential Greens and the Sleep Well. We don't focus on meal replacements or fads or anything like that. It's very, very simple program to follow in terms of the food that you would eat. We don't want you making separate meals to the rest of the family and stuff. We just want you focusing on cutting out the inflammatory foods and giving yourself all those beautiful nutrients on a day-to-day basis in terms of colours and lots of good quality protein. Now, this programme over the 30 days would also include a handbook, a support group on Facebook, regular videos that are posted into the Facebook group as well, alongside live feeds as well that happen during the course of the week, and recipes on a regular basis. So it's a really well supported program. You've got these 2 really lovely supplements that are going to support your liver, and then you've got the support of both myself and Babita to support you on this 30-day program to help you really get in touch or in charge of how effectively your liver is detoxifying. it would be absolutely fine for someone with IBS. It would actually benefit someone with IBS as well, because the essential green's got lots of really nice fibres in it. Those fibres will help to clean the intestine, and they will feed the good bacteria in the intestine and help them to grow stronger. And by removing those inflammatory foods like gluten and anything beige, and the processed foods and the sugars and stuff, that will help to reduce the inflammation down around the gut as well. So if you just want to move on to the next slide. So it's a bit slow. So just ask yourself this question. Is your health worth the investment? That is a question that I would ask you, because health is wealth, basically. There is no point in having wealth if you can't enjoy it. There's no point in having a pension if you can't enjoy your life in later life. And I don't know about anybody else, but I'm not someone who wants to not enjoy my later life. And so now is the time to make that investment. Now is the time to make the investment in your long-term well-being, to reduce joint pain, to reduce any bloating, to manage your weight more effectively, to get your body working efficiently. You only have one body, you only have one place to live, and that is in the body that you currently have. And we're great at spending money on new phones, on getting our car serviced, on buying coffees and things like that, but we don't make that investment in ourselves, and we are the most important machine that has ever walked, basically. And if we don't make that investment in our health now, then that's going to come back to bite us later in life, and it's harder to manage these things later in life than if we make the investment in ourselves now. So this program, if you want to just move it on, Babita.
I was actually going to invite Bev.
Oh yeah, do that, yeah.
So yeah, it's always better not to think about what is it going to cost. It's always better to think about what are you going to gain. You're literally gaining back time. You're giving your body the chance to serve you optimally. You're treating it, you're blasting it with clinically proven nutrients that will help you get your systems under control, get your hormones under control. So isn't your health worth all of that? I just want to invite Bev. I hope she's still on the call. She did a much more intense, deeper gut and liver cleanse called our Pure 21 program, which we did refer to earlier. And she had some amazing results on there. She's also was an ex-nutrition client of mine, and she saw some good results then, but that was about a year ago. Now, I'd just like to introduce Bev and share her experience on coupling good nutrition along with clinically tested proven health supplement program. Bev, are you okay just to say a few words about how you found, taking the supplements on the Pure 21 challenge?
Yeah, thank you, Babita. I just wanted to say a huge thank you to both you, Babita and Sue, for introducing me into the program. I've been experiencing some perimenopausal symptoms for a while, mainly sort of fatigue and brain fog and difficulty sleeping, and that stubborn, persistent sort of like weight around my tummy. Tried several different things, but was really interested in the program. So obviously signed up to do that. I have to say the first few days was quite challenging. Headaches, a little bit of nausea, felt sort of really quite fatigued, but I think you guys were really great in explaining what was happening to my body and how the supplements were working, and the whole detox program, process, what it was doing and how it was helping my body. So that really helped to understand what the process was happening at the time. So after that sort of bit, those difficult few days, I think about day 5, I started to feel so much better. Headaches had gone, got so much more focused, much more energy. I was able to sort of like do tasks at work with more motivation, sort of certainly less stressed and anxious about sort of jobs at work. And we just felt like I'd actually got a spring back in my step again, and it was really refreshing to sort of feel like that again. And even sort of like at home at the gym, felt really more focused, just able to feel stronger in some of the workouts that I was doing. At home, just being able to sleep better. My uniform started to feel looser and clothes started to feel looser, so that was amazing. So at the end of that 21 days, I'd lost 12 pounds in weight, about 8 centimeters from my tummy, which was incredible. Just felt fitter, healthier, so much more motivated. And I think just that weight loss and just how I was feeling just gave me so much more confidence. And I say that from things at home to work. I even had an appraisal today and went into that with more positive feeling, and certainly less anxious about it anyway. But after those 21 days, I've continued to lose some more weight. I've lost just over a stone now, and just feel great. So I just can't recommend it enough. I think it's amazing.
Oh, thank you, Bev. Yeah, it was amazing. We were all astonished at yourself and the other people that were doing the challenge with you. It was brilliant, and the key thing was you were struggling with that sort of menopausal weight around your tummy. 8 centimeters came off from around your stomach area. You're still losing weight, which is over a stone now, and I just think it's brilliant. And what stood out for me is that you were suffering with fatigue and that kind of brain fog, and that kind of lifted as well. You found yourself more focused. So thank you for sharing that with everybody on the call today. So that's what I mean. You know, you really need to think about not what you're spending or what you're giving out. And like Sue said, you spend all of this anyway on so many different things that you have in your lifestyles, which are actually not doing anything for your health. With things like this, you're buying back time, you're actually supporting your health. It really does make a difference to invest in yourself. So thanks for that, Bev. So you are probably all wondering, well, how much does it cost? Well, like we said, it's a 30-day challenge, and as Bev said, we're here to support you. We explain exactly what's going on and what to expect. There's a challenge Facebook group, there's weekly recipes that will be shared, you'll have our support and community support, and you have weekly accountability goals as well. So that's a lot, actually. So all of this together, well, the two choices that Sue was talking about is only £99, whichever combination you go with. So you're getting 2 quality supplements for 30 days. It can either be the Essential Greens and the Phyto Life. But if you're struggling with your sleep, it's better to actually do the Essential Greens with the Sleep Well. It depends on what your priority is right now. Is it restful sleep, or is it the detox with these super blasts of polyphenols and chlorophyll and deep liver support? So it really does you know, you decide what's important for you. So what we've decided to do is we're not taking any orders or anything tonight. We'd like you to think about it, to think about how this can actually give you more confidence, going back to the title of the talk, more confidence for the summer. Listening to Bev, you know, having that ability, because it's the nutrients that gives your body the ability to let go of those stored toxins. We already talked about how the fat cells are holding on to those. Well, these programs let you release them, but release them safely and let you eliminate them. That's the whole reason why the fat loss starts to get encouraged. That's the reason why. So give yourself some time to think about everything we've said on this webinar. We're actually leaving orders open till the end of the month, till the 31st of March, which will give you the opportunity to come back to me, have any questions. My contact details, you can just take a picture of it with your phone, is on the screen. My email's on the screen. If you have any questions, I will be sending out an email with the offer and everything that's actually included and involved. You'll be getting that by the weekend. And then we'll start the challenge. We didn't want to be so awful as to let you miss out on your lovely chocolate Easter bunnies. So we were thinking of starting the challenge straight after Easter, probably the 11th of April, which will take you up to mid-May. which is perfect because it will mean you'll be feeling great, feeling good, all in readiness for the hot weather. So we did refer earlier to the actual challenge that Bev did, which was the 21-day Pure 21, and that was linked to a talk we did in January, which was an in-depth gut webinar, and the QR code is there for anybody who wants to go back and have a look at that. And there's a QR code here for ways to reach me as well if you have any questions. I know that there are some people on the call who I don't have an email for, so I won't be able to email you the details. But if you find me on Facebook and Instagram, because you've come through Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn, then I'll be happy to share with you anything you need to know. Anything about the products can be shared. There are fact sheets available for the company if you want to delve deeper into the ingredients. Like we said, they're all organic, all vegan, all ethically sourced, and they're highly potent. So you won't be disappointed. And we do hope that you join us. We hope that you join the 30-day challenge, that you see the value in taking care and taking control of your health, really. Just going to open up the, is it okay, Sue, if we just unmute, just if anybody has any quick questions before we leave?
Yeah, absolutely. I've answered a few questions that were in the chat box as we've gone along. So, but if anyone has any other questions, it would be, yeah, just unmute yourself and ask now. Do you want to stop your share, maybe? There you go. Doesn't look like anybody's unmuted, so maybe we've answered all the questions, maybe.
We do hope you enjoyed that. And like I say, if I haven't got your email, please find me, and I can talk to you either on those other social media platforms. It's
Yeah,
great.
thank you very much. It was very interesting.
Thank you, Vidya.
Yeah, very interesting.
Okay. Okay. I think most people are okay and they're starting to leave. So we'll be back in touch. We'll be in touch by email. Anyone who's got my number or taken a screenshot, you can certainly get in touch with me. But like we say, orders will be open till the 31st, and we'll love to have you on the challenge so that you can have your own success story. And we'll start that after Easter. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Bye.
Take care. Bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye, Sue.